Welcome back to the Untrained podcast. I'm your host, Amoila Cesar. I'm here with Curtis Shannon, Mo Wells, and Kris Chrisp. What up, gang?
I'm the only dress coached up here, you know.
I felt like I looked like
I feel like Mo is
like a teacher.
mannequin stylist.
A coach is
You're a
a teacher.
PE teacher. Curtis look good today.
Curtis look great every day, by the way.
The honor the gift with the, my ear fives, that's fire.
I'm trying to figure out what the skin
How do you
routine
pronounce
is,
that? I'm
Curtis.
on my ear. How do you pronounce it?
What's the skin routine?
The skin routine.
No stress. Low stress.
La Roche Posay. For the nighttime routine and the morning routine. And I try to drink a gallon of Ophora water per day. And that's what it is.
Per day.
What kind of water?
Ophora.
Say that
Got
again.
it.
Can you
Hello.
spell that out?
OPHORA.
Hey.
That's the water that you want to drink to look this great. We got a good fun topic today. We're going to get into in-season training. We're going to talk about pay structures. We're going to talk about what that looks like.
Give you money.
If you are a trainer that's, you got a client, you're trying to figure out, how do I do the in-season, how I charge them, and is there a difference between off-season, in-season? We're going to just give our input of some of our experiences. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Facts.
So we're just going to give our experience, and maybe you can bounce off of some ideas off of that and think about, okay, I got a good framework of how I want to approach this. We got a good fun topic today. We're going to get into in-season training.
Understand what you bring to the table and what you're able to help this client do.
We could push this profession forward so much and get what we deserve if more people will be open.
Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes is important because I know some people who don't pay their taxes.
Look, I do too.
And how we going to pay $500 a session?
Who's gonna pay $500? And my goal getting into this was to make myself valuable 12 months out of the year.
So I know this is a conversation that I've recently had with a fellow trainer recently, had a conversation, and this trainer was trying to figure out, man, how do I charge? How does that look like? And I want to leave it open to because I like hearing you guys' story, and then I'll also chime in about situations with myself. So in-season training is coming around. This is this when we make our money, or is this the most important part
Try
of the
to make
season?
it 12 months a year.
12, yeah, okay.
Try.
12 months a year,
Ebbs
try to
and
go
flows,
get it.
but-
But is this the most important part of the season?
Absolutely.
Okay. NFL,
Where you
NBA,
win
baseball, this is literally where, you separate as well as getting great at what you're trying to do, but also keep your clients healthy and durable, depending on whatever sport that is.
All sports, you gotta be durable.
Yeah, you gotta be durable in all
Best
sports.
ability is,
Availability.
hello.
I hear it. So let me
Project.
ask you this, man. I'm getting ready to start with a client, hypothetical.
Sport.
We're gonna say we know it's basketball. I'm always gonna keep it basketball. I'm gonna keep it very simple. The client asked me to join them for the season, but I live, and this is gonna be most cases for a lot of people, I live in a different state than that client.
Right.
Yep.
So how would I approach that first with, number one, day rate?
Great question.
How would I structure it long term? What does that look like for me? I'm gonna start off with whoever raises their hand first.
Raise your hand.
Okay.
Shoot.
Raise your hand, Chris.
Raise your hand, Chris.
Well, it's a lot of different factors. It's a lot of different variables.
There it
One, you can't really go over your value, and you can't really go over the value that they see within you.
100%.
So if your value is 100 and they see 50, are you
worth
going to
50.
miss the 50 because they won't take 100?
Nope.
And now you SOL. So the first important thing is to understand your value. Understand what you bring to the table and what you're able to help this client do.
Value.
And you gotta be a good closer.
Yeah.
Because if you gotta be a good closer. If you can't close, like athlete, just because you have the capabilities of providing this asset to them or this value to their in-season career, if you can't close that number, you might miss that 52.
We are in sales.
What do they say?
You
It's
might
not,
miss that
it's not how
52.
good you are, it's how good you negotiate.
It's how good you negotiate.
Shout out to
So,
David Mooney.
we're gonna set our prices and our standards, but if you can't close,
Yeah.
you can't close, and that's on you.
Because you could absolutely offer 100 and they offer 50 and you just settle for that because you're not a closer.
You can't close it.
When you could have just said a couple more words and got the 100.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna get 110 if I say 100.
real quick, I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to understand from your point of view too. So are you saying is this like 100 per like session or is it like
100K
100,000
per
per
100
year?
100 is hypothetical.
Yeah,
100 is the
100K for the season.
hypothetical.
Okay, so you're just saying the per season.
Yes.
Not the
like
per
a
session.
season, right? Yeah, 100,
Got it.
yeah. Whatever.
100K, 100,000
year. Got it.
is for the 8 months.
Yeah.
Got it.
Of the season. So
Okay. So how do we break that up payment-wise?
wire,
Okay.
you get wires at the first.
Do
or
you want the
15.
100 up front, or is this a month-to-month basis?
You gotta close.
Okay.
You gotta close
So-
because that piece is very particular. Because some athletes may not want to see that 100 leave their account right away,
Yep.
or they may be more conscious about are they gonna see it leaving on the 1st or the 15th.
Okay.
The key to it, you have
is
to be able to
individualistic.
close.
Yeah.
If 100 is your goal and you saying you want 100 up front, and they mentally can't see them giving you 100, you might miss that.
Once again, you gotta know your personnel.
You gotta know who you
know your
did. Yeah, you have to know who you dealing with.
So, like, I could have 4 athletes that gotta pay me. I don't, by the way. I wish. They gotta pay me 100K a year. And knowing, okay, it's not about like changing the price by the athlete. It's about the distribution. And I know athlete A can do 100 up front, and I know athlete C can't. Break his up. Don't break his up.
Got it.
Because for travel stuff, I get mine up front.
Yeah.
Gotta close. That's a good close. That's a good format.
Yeah, I get my for travel stuff. Like the guys I do work with travel, they have the budget for that.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't have the budget for it.
Side note,
in-season
are they
stuff.
paying for travel for you?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all looped in. So when I do a contract for in-season travel, what I do is I'll map it all out. It's on paper, right? These are my certifications. These are the services that I'm going to offer. These are the dates that I'm going to come. This is what it costs per travel. This is what it costs per trip. This is what the travel estimates to. So your child get a travel stipend. I get a training rate. This is per trip.
Is this a type up that you've wrote for yourself, or is this so you?
But
would-
we collectively had this conversation
Yeah.
to help our business grow.
No,
because
we have this conversation all the time.
you know, like C sets the market for us, and it's other
Oh,
in-season guys that set the market for
There's
us.
some guys that set the market.
You
well.
know, so we all
up
always
there
just trying
with
to.
them,
Always trying to.
Respectfully, man.
Respect
You
me,
there.
go out there with them. I'm trying to.
Yeah, and there may be other guys, but like we might not
Well,
have that
access.
same relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't
You know?
ask. So because this, unfortunately, people want to keep so much stuff to themselves.
I don't understand that. I don't like
Like-
that.
We could push this profession forward so much and get what we deserve if more people will be open. Like
Yeah.
I talk about all the time the session that I do with my interns where I go over all my salaries throughout the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had that conversation.
Yeah, he do that.
Yeah.
Very detailed.
Very detailed, right? So you can level yourself against my resume, your resume, what you're making, what you want to make, what you're asking your employer for, what you're asking your athletes for against what I'm doing. Like that's like setting a market.
That's
This
what
is
receivers doing right now.
100%.
You know, receivers hold out until they see what the other one's going to get.
Yeah.
That is true. That is the market. As a trainer or a PT, I think the thing is asking for the money is obviously we've
That's
talked
the
about
hardest
this.
part.
That's the hardest part about all of this is really asking. But you have to also really just stand on like your principles and what you believe in.
Gotta close.
And it is about closing. You have to be able to combat with the rebuttals. You're gonna have to have a rebuttal, to be able to justify what you're charging,
And that rate can adjust.
and that's where I was gonna say, like, does it scale? Is it more during the off season? Is it more during the in season? Does your rate change?
Rate changes from off-season to in-season
Yeah.
Okay.
because of level of importance.
Okay,
the
so-
off-season
And
is
travel.
builds the foundation. If I know that if I can close this guy for in-season, and that's my intention before the season starts or before off-season start, I have a list of guys that I'm looking to close. Like, hey, I need to get this guy on board for in-season.
Yeah.
These are my tactics for this. This is my tactics for in-season. So, off-season, so I know when I actually approach the conversation, I'm going to charge you this rate. So when we get to this rate, this is what we're going to go here. I set the table and the standard for what I'm going to charge.
Yeah.
And if that client only wants me to work with them, they have to be understanding that like
Absolutely.
X,
Opportunity cost.
Y, and Z want me to be with them.
My
is
question
opportunity
for you, Chris. So if you close a guy, when you close a guy on off season and in season, right? Are you kind of like giving them more so like a wholesale kind of, or like a less of a deal because you're closing
For the
them
whole
for
year.
Correct.
about 8 to 10 months?
Correct.
Or are you kind of like, all right, if since you decided just to work with me off season and then it was kind of like, then you decided to pay for the in season as well, are you kind of like charging that two separate?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
To where
do
it's
you
like,
wanna-
let's
so-
just say, I'm sorry. So let's just say like, if you doing off-season training is, and these aren't real numbers, it's just for math. Off-season training is 20,000 for the off-season, right? And then in-season training is 100,000,
Okay.
right? But if we lock in right now, are you gonna give them that 110, or are you gonna give them like those two prices separately combined?
Well, so
if that
I'm not
makes sense?
giving a deal. Like, let's be clear.
So
I
it's
have a
20
number.
plus, it's 120.
Yeah, it's 120. Like, I have a price. I have a goal that I need to reach. Each athlete has a goal that they're trying to reach financially. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So if I want 120, then I'm going to be at 150.
Yeah.
So I can get 120.
Got it.
Oh,
if
got
that
you.
makes sense.
Got you.
After tax.
Got you.
After, yeah, come on now. Like, look at it. Like,
Got
stop
you.
playing.
No, I got you.
However, you have to understand that when you're looking at the off-season and in-season, what value are you going to bring them in that in-season, and how do you structure that for the off-season? Because if you're just going to have them in the off-season for that 2 to 5 month window that they're there, then yeah, give them a deal, wholesale it.
So let's, do you get paid before or after the work?
Before.
What?
Common mistakes that most trainers make is that they wait to get paid after, and then they
Never do
find
that.
themselves having to chase
Never do that.
after, and it's not
That's
respectful.
not bad. You can get paid after. Getting paid after more so reflects the relationship that you have with that person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that I don't mind when you get paid. You have to.
Would
get
you
paid.
say that's a common error, a common mistake?
No.
I think
not an
that
error.
if you
What's
get
the-
it after, you don't shell out any money, right? So if you're getting it after, your travel and all that stuff has to be taken care of now, though,
Yeah.
right? I'm not spending my money and then getting reimbursed plus my
Yeah.
cut,
So
right?
then it's on the athlete to pay for the travel.
Yeah,
all
my
that.
flight, my stay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Getting to them, getting back.
Okay.
And there's likely some type of stipend, food,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. And then we can get the whole thing. But I don't think it's smart to get your whole back end on the back end.
Yeah, no.
No,
That,
it's I
Me
totally
and, and
agree.
me and Curtis had this conversation
Yeah.
all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna at least give me 50% now, 50% mid-season.
Yeah.
I'm not getting it on the end.
Because
but
just
you
never
learn
know what
these
happens.
things through mistakes that you make.
100%. Yeah.
And I've made mistakes when it comes to training. Like, I've figured out, like, I've not closed. Like, you know, transparently, there's been times when I have, like you said, gave a discounted rate for the in-season, for the off-season, in the hopes of closing
For
for
in-season.
in-season.
And it didn't
And
happen.
it didn't happen. And I lost money because I was looking out.
Yeah.
So, like, I've
Yeah. We look
made
out, that's in our
mistakes
nature.
in that department. So it's okay to make those mistakes. I don't want you to make those mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
However,
That's the point of this.
you have to
Yeah.
close, and you have to be understanding of what the tax is going to be or what you're trying to make. Because
Yeah.
if you're trying to make 100,000, that shit is going to be taxed. So you need to look at you making 70.
Right.
So don't think you're making 100. You're making
Yeah.
Not
70.
making 100.
I think it's very important that you highlight that is because we are, I believe we're 1099s. We are independent contractors. I think a lot of us, we get the fast money quick, but we don't think about taxes. We don't think about
Write-offs.
expenses, and write-offs, all those things. And those are very important as a business because we're all businesses. If you are a trainer, guys, I recommend this, and I say this all the time. If you're whatever your LMT or whatever you are, please have an LLC or some type of business license.
Correct.
So proprietorship,
Yes,
anything like
because
that.
I think that is very important for your business. Also, again, since we are independent contractors, there are a lot of different write-offs, and there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of different benefits for small business owners. So if you are beginning in your journey, that's something I definitely recommend. You can just go to your bank, you can go to LegalZoom. There are different ways to help
LegalZoom
you
for
get
the win.
started. Right.
Yeah.
So like definitely, guys, structure that around there, and it'll make it a lot easier when it comes to itemizing, your expenses, and being able to report to Uncle Sam. So just want
Pay
to
your
look out
taxes.
on that.
Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes is important because I know some people who don't pay their taxes.
Look, I do too.
You
And
know?
when they're trying to buy a house or they're trying to do something that is actually
Yeah.
an adult activity, They said, well, you haven't made any money for the last 2
Yeah.
years. So what?
So
Where you?
yeah, how you gonna get this house?
How you gonna
Sam's
get this
gonna
house?
come
I
get you
think
at
so
one
for
point.
me, and I'm in an interesting space because I'm a hybrid of both,
Yeah.
full-time employment and private sector.
Okay.
And I did that on purpose from the jump.
Yeah.
It just worked out better than I expected, but I like the stability, right? So my taxes always fluctuate because I have a W-2, but I also have 1099 work,
Yep.
right? But I've always been a big component of it. And could I have made more over the years by being straight 1099?
Yep.
Probably, but
Okay.
I have a company card. I have a stable job. I have a stable income. I don't really have to guess about where my next check coming from. So those taxes, a lot of times they just equal out. I don't get a refund. So
Okay.
as you rise through the ranks, just know you're gonna get a refund. You're gonna go to not getting a refund to owing some bread, and it kind of hurt. But I mean, it's a fortunate position to be in.
One way for independent businesses, guys, there are estimated taxes that you can pay into. I like to think ahead. I don't like to be surprised at all. So every quarter of the year, I'm cutting that check. I'm sending that off. And I don't want to ever have to worry when April come around. You know,
I mean, you're very savvy when it comes to business. Anything that I've learned from the business of training, I learned from
yeah.
Amoila.
I think it's a lot of the stuff that I've learned is, just through trial and error, trying to figure it out. But I've also been in a lot of rooms where I'm just watching entertainers.
So I appreciate your mistakes.
Yeah, I had to make a lot of mistakes.
Divine intervention.
No, I appreciate that. I think it's very important because this is a part of the business that we tend to not really button up. I remember when I
don't know
first
why.
started as a trainer, I was making the money really
had this
quick,
same
real fast. And yeah, of course, Uncle Sam come at you around here and there and start talking to you. He's like, hey, we need you on this.
You get up on that number.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey, now.
that 200, that 300, that number, they gonna start.
You gotta start getting some red
Hello.
flags.
Hey, bro.
So having to learn the insides of how to keep money as well as make money was very important for me, but also to just stay away from any red flags. So I highly recommend, you don't have to be rich to have financial advisors.
Financial literacy.
Facts.
Yeah.
You don't.
Right.
Or you can buy a book and learn it. It's very simple. It just takes research. And when you are curious about how the flow of money works, I think you will start to button up and realize that, okay, I need to clean this up when it comes to my business. So for me, I've learned through that. My situation is different from you guys. I know you guys have a charge for the summer and you may have a charge for the year. Mine is just charged straight through. Like I classify myself as an employee under, but mine is just basically a retainer. Doesn't matter if I see you once that month or if I see you 30 times that month, I'm still gonna get paid
You still gonna charge,
what I'm getting paid, and it's automatically coming right through, and we don't even have to discuss. So there have been times where I haven't trained for 2 months, but I'm still getting paid. Now, that's also the relationship that I have with the client that I've been working with for a very long time. And so every situation is different. When summer times I'm having some new clients come in, or if I'm gonna do a summer training program with someone, then we're gonna talk differently. It's gonna be a 2-month rate, it's gonna be a 3-month rate, but we're gonna get that up front. We're gonna get that out of the way because that also holds accountability for the client as well. They're like, I need to show up, I just paid this money, I just dropped this bag, I'm for sure showing up. So there's a win-win when it comes to that, but there are different situations. I find that my situation where I'm in has been amazing because I know what it's coming, it's automatic, I know year in, year out,
It's
this is
stability.
what it is, it's very stable.
We love stability, boy.
And I did the due diligence of getting a contract, getting it in ink, making sure that it's both party understand. I am in touch with all financial advisors on their team, and they're in touch with my financial advisors on my team.
Have
And
your
so,
people talk
What do
to
you
my
think
people.
makes the financial piece a hard conversation? Like, why is that so hard to like?
That's a great
because a
question.
lot of people don't know what they're worth, and that's hard. But then also, I think sometimes we have our own. When I was Rich Dad Poor Dad is a really great book.
Yeah.
Great book.
Because I realized I had a poor mindset. I would think, man, if I tell this dude I'm 500 a session, he might not.
Yeah.
Man, who gonna pay 500 a session?
Who gonna pay $500?
And that's coming from my background.
Yeah.
Growing up poor, my parents, they complain about $10 and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've had my
Like, you
own
can't hear.
my own emotional attachment to it, where it was hard for me to ask for the money because I also didn't think that I was worthy of it. And I also thought, well, man, I love doing what I do. Why would
You
I
do it
ever
for free,
charge?
right?
Yeah, why would I charge such a thing? Like, because I still, I would do it for free. Idiot, stupid.
It's a crazy sales.
So I think it really boils down to your personal connection that you have to it, your upbringing. It's just very different. So I find a lot of people
You
have
know,
that
it's crazy.
issue.
I practiced a lot of tactics when I was first getting into the professional side of in-season, off-season training. I
What
practiced
year
a
did
lot
you get
of
into the private sector? side?
2018.
Got it.
I did a lot of trial and error with the general population clients. I used to try them. In the sense of I used to try them.
Hey,
from a
man.
closing standpoint.
Yeah.
I used to be like, hey, let's book up
How good are my
six
sales
months.
deals?
Because
That's what they do at
Lifetime, LA Fitness,
Lifetime,
whatever.
LA, yeah.
I was like, let's do it 6 months. Let's do 1,500.
Yeah.
150 sessions. How many sessions can you sell
younger coaches, if
Boy,
you
he is outside.
decide maybe you want to do the private route and things of that nature, I would implore all of you to work at a kind of big time gym, like
Yes.
an Equinox or
Yes.
like a Lifetime.
I would
Yes.
not employ that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you
Listen,
why.
you gotta let us finish first.
I agree though.
Fuck that.
All right.
Go
I too
ahead.
agree.
No.
That's the route I took.
You.
Wow.
Keep going.
Because you took the route, so I didn't take it?
No,
But everybody's not you though.
Let me explain. But
Everybody
let
not
him
you
explain.
either.
But what I'm trying to tell people is that if you work at these gyms, right, these big kind of corporations, they teach you, or not necessarily physically teach you, sit you down, but you learn, if you pay attention, you learn how to close, how to negotiate,
Yes.
Everybody
how
don't get it
to
naturally.
how to kind of organize your
Yes.
clients and upcharge your clients based on certain things. You kind of learn the system of how even the gym charges the clients.
They do.
What Curtis did is reminded me of where I got it from. Because I worked at LA Fitness and I was the personal training director. My job was to teach trainers how to close deals. So a lot of my business IQ comes from, believe it or not, LA Fitness. Shout out LA Fitness.
And you just said you tried. That's how you got better. You tried the general
And
pop.
we would have meetings
Little ad boy.
consistently on how
It's 200
to
a
sell
session.
and how to listen to people's their messaging, to how to really listen, and how to help guide people to where you're trying to ultimately get. I then also worked at Equinox as well. I learned very little bit, I'll be honest, very little about business, but I learned a lot about just human nature and just working in Equinox. So I will say that there is something very important about trainers, especially if you're starting off, to work in a
Gotta learn
corporate
somewhere.
gym, just get your feel, understand how to talk to people, know how to recognize the signs of, is it they can't afford it or they're making excuses, and just be able to help and guide people. So I totally agree with Curtis. That was my route. I'm not saying that's everyone's route.
Absolutely.
But I will say that helped me out a lot.
I believe in this space, a lot of young trainers, PTs, ATs, whatever the case may be, they see people higher up in a space, whether it's us or somebody else, and they think that they can just start training or start
And get
treating
here.
from scratch
Yeah.
and get there, right? We went through educational processes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did internships, right? I did a GA. I worked at this place. I worked at that place, and I learned. Because where are you gonna get the knowledge from? You're not just making this stuff off the top of your head. You learned it from
Are
somewhere.
you getting knowledge from a 2-day certification?
No.
Absolutely not.
But if I do a 2-day certification, I'm taking something away.
Yeah,
from
you
it.
can get knowledge from a 2-day
That-
certification.
You get it's because
You can get-
I don't want to be in a
you can get the
certification
knowledge, but not
when
the
I got
whole
my
thing.
LMT. It took 5 months,
My point.
but I'm going to, if I go to a symposium or a clinic or the NCA or CSCCA, I'm going to get something from that clinic. Now, is it going to make me an expert? Hell no, it's not going to make me an expert. But I'm going to take, if I go listen to Stu McMillan talk, I'm going to take some away. If I go listen to Dan
I
Pav
agree.
or Boo Schexnayder talk, I'm
You
going
gotta
to
be
get something from
You
that
can't
talk.
be a know-it-all within the space. You have to take something
You
from
got to
it.
get it from somewhere. We ain't invent none of this shit. So we're going to get our knowledge from somewhere. And if you don't make the necessary stops, whether that be work somewhere, go be a mentee, or go research, individual research, you got to get the knowledge from somewhere. You can't just wake up and say, I'm going to make you do football catches on a Bosu ball and you're going to be one of the most stable athletes ever. That's not how that's going to go.
We should do like a practical situation.
Right.
Let's do it.
Kind of help people out. We're gonna do some rebuttals right now. And so,
Hello.
Kris, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Alrighty. Tell me something about your goals. What are you trying to achieve?
Man, I want to just stay, in shape. I just want to work out maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Not really big into do a lot of cardio. I hate running, so I'm not really looking for someone to put me through a lot of conditioning.
Okay.
And I want to do a little bit of like lifting, but I want to see a lot of results.
Twice a week. I know I can get you twice a week.
You give me twice a week.
Okay,
Tuesday,
and that's for
Thursday?
sure.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. So you feel comfortable with twice a week?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that could hold you back from possibly coming in? Any setbacks or any you have kids? You have?
I got 3.
You have 3 kids. Okay.
Got a dog,
How old are they?
9, 7, and 6.
Oh man. And you have a dog too? What
Yeah.
type of dog you have?
I have a Doberman Pinscher.
Doberman. Oh, they're a little cute. I think they're so cute.
Yeah.
So how much free time do you have? You got 3 kids. You got a dog. How often are you?
My free time ranges between 5 to 7 or 5 to 8.
Okay. And that's consistent? That's every day?
consistent.
Awesome. So I definitely know I can get you around in those windows, right?
Yes, sir.
And we can work out. So I want to show you basically what a package would look like. If you would want to train twice a week, this is what it looks like. So obviously if you were to train a little bit more, we can do a little bit more on the pricing. But right now we're looking at about $300 a session. I'm just quoting you some random numbers, but we're looking at $300 a session, right? I would love to get started. The first thing that we want to do is I have to get an assessment with you first. So right now we can go head over here and get an assessment. We can get you started. And then after that, once we do the assessment and the questionnaire.
So wait, are you telling me I got to pay $600 a week?
Yeah, if you are looking to do twice a week.
I don't know if I can really budget $600 a week. That's a little bit high.
Okay, I totally understand that. My question would be for you is the frequency of it, or is it the entire package of it? The 600 just seems a little bit
the
too steep for
600
you.
is
What
a
feels
little too-
comfortable for you?
Maybe like 450.
450. Okay, so 450 for you would be like, this feels good for me.
Correct.
This is what I want. Okay, perfect. Would you classify this as a priority?
Yes, I need it.
You need it. And my next question would be, if this is a priority for you, then I want to make sure that we find something that's going to get you there. Maybe we can't do twice a week right now, and I would love to do twice a week. Maybe once a week, and I can program for you outside of this to keep you going. That way, we can make sure that you're still seeing progress moving forward. How does that feel for you?
I would like that. Would that be a little bit cheaper?
Well, the rate's going to continue to be $300, but it definitely will be cheaper. Since $450 is in your budget, what I'm going to do is I don't mind programming outside of that. I really want to help you get those results. So we just charge the one session for the $300, and then what I will do for you is program your second workout, which is naturally going to happen regardless. And then if you feel more comfortable, if you see the value in the training, then I would love to see you twice a week because you're going to get the most out of it. But if I can't see you twice a week, that's totally okay. I can still get you the results regardless. How does that sound?
That sounds good. I could do that.
Okay, let's do that. And you know what's naturally gonna happen from that? One session with me, I promise you, within a week, you're gonna decide you wanna do twice a week and you're gonna see the value. If you don't see that, regardless of anything, I'm still gonna work with you once a week and I'm still gonna give you outstanding service regardless. And so from there, you're gonna get the value. I met you at $450 and honestly, I'm saving you $150. And you're also feeling good about that.
Yep.
And you also feel like you got a plan to move forward. So I'm okay with that. And you're okay with that. Now, I promise you, it's just like if somebody tells you no one time and then you ask them again and again and again, what eventually will happen is that chance, the probability of getting what you want will happen. If I'm stuck on the, man, I just really want to get this $600, then I'm not going to get them where I want them to be, and I'm not going to get what I want. I know if you see me more, you will see the value, and you won't question that. And so you won't go to Ferrari and ask, man, I just came here to spend, like $100,000.
I think the best question you ask within that is, what are you comfortable with?
Yeah.
Because asking that question
So me.
allows me to set the price for you.
Yeah.
And you counted it with, okay, this is what I'm going to charge you with less time.
Yeah.
Because one or two things are going to happen. You either A, not going to see results with this one session and feel like you're not getting what you should pay for and that you need to pay more and prioritize it, or you're going to be like, you know what? I need to lock in and
I
do
need
what's
to
necessary.
Yeah, and that's what naturally the human instinct is going to want. We don't want to quit.
No.
We want to see. And honestly, $150 ain't no difference. Like, you can pay $600. I could have gone into
What I said yesterday about them cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have gone in,
Can
but I
afford
chose not to
275.
dive into your personal expenses. I chose not to, but I know that you can definitely pay the $600. That's not steep for you. And also, the fact that you're here, that also lets me know, like, you are interested. You would not be here if
And
you're
you
not
did some
interested.
research.
Yeah. So
You wouldn't be sitting in front of me if you didn't need me.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I look at it in certain situations, and again, it's not always about the money. It's also meeting people where they are and making them feel comfortable. Now, we were talking about the sales aspect of it. I'm a little rusty. It's been a while since I've had to sell.
You got me.
You did great. You got him.
Yeah.
And he's a hard
I
sell.
think that extremely hard sell.
How do you say, get to
So-
yes?
Yeah,
you say?
I mean, that
Get
was
to yes.
awesome. Also, I think what the people would like to know as well is if we can do that same exact thing, I'm a coach like myself, right? And I just want to know, how can I charge a guy, how do I go about talking to a guy in season for this, an NBA player in season? What does that conversation look like? So I would like for you guys to
Look,
maybe
I
role
would
play
say
on that.
if that is your goal to get it in season, that's like almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like, because the one thing they're going to say, why do I need you when
Yeah.
I have the team set up?
I think
That is the hardest piece to
for
sell.
me, now that I haven't say I mastered it for the in-season stuff, I have become really valuable. And my goal getting into this was to make myself valuable 12 months out of the year. Off season, I might train 100 athletes. In season, I train 5 or 6. However, I'm valuable to those 5 or 6 people 12 months out of the year. That means I have revenue coming 12 months out of the year on top of my
That is a
stable
goal.
income.
6 out of 100, what's that percentage?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
slow.
That's
It's-
crazy.
And I'm already the 1% of
So-
trainers anyway.
Think about how
But
hard that is. Like
you
what
have
Kris
to
said.
know yourself. When they say know your personnel, know yourself. What can I offer? If I can only be a strength coach, I can't offer
limit
anything
yourself.
in season.
Yeah.
Why did I go get my LMT?
Yeah.
Why did I get into fascial lines and all this stuff and get into manual therapy and corrective exercise? So I can make myself valuable 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
What do guys need in season? They can't train super hard in season
they're not.
outside of what they're doing with the team. So how do you make yourself valuable? Just like the chiros and the PTs and everybody else do.
And
Body work, corrective exercise.
soft
Oh,
tissue
your
work
ankle.
is key.
Oh, your ankle hurts. Your
Absolutely.
back hurts. Your shoulders hurt. You're not being mindful about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And
Mental fortitude.
And that
corrective
answers
exercise,
a
manual
lot
therapy.
of those questions because we know what their needs are going to be throughout
100%.
the season, right?
We've seen it.
Yeah,
And
time
so-
and time again.
I mean, it's very important to diversify your portfolio as a
Trainer.
And it's also really important if you don't have that diverse portfolio is that do you have the Rolodex? Can you be an asset where you can concierge this and navigate this? And
Correct.
so again,
Oh,
it's
we talk
really
about that so much.
It's really about what do you offer that goes beyond just the physical aspects of
Yeah.
things. But another thing too, is another way that you could approach it is obviously through the programming, right? When we come and we talk about athletes, we would love to talk about their macro picture of it. So if this is what we're focusing on, if I'm doing this assessment and I want to have this macro program of yours, the in-season training is going to be just as important as well because
more
we're
important.
still
Yeah.
progressing and we're trying to hit some of these benchmarkers.
And it's longer in
And
the
it's-
And you
season.
can hit your goals. And
It's
you
long,
can hit-
longer in a year.
Man, I get
for
the
basketball,
most
I would
results
say.
from my clients that I work with off season and in season and have some type of rapport with the team.
Yes.
They get the best results.
So, and I think when you can use your programming, because if you are prepared, your programming could be also another asset to your pitch of why you should have me throughout the season as well. Because then in there, we can find these little microcycles of a week where we're still improving on what we were trying to improve on during the off season. And we can
Programming is a
continue
part
to
of
keep-
closing.
Yes. it
Because
is
if you
very
can't
important.
program,
Huge.
you're not going to be able to close.
And if you can't present the program to something that they can adhere to
And understand.
comprehend,
Yep.
then you're not gonna close.
Yeah. So, in-season training, you know, I had a conversation with the trainer recently. I've had this conversation with 2 trainers, and they're amazing trainers. Yes, it really comes down to again, do you provide more value than your client would expect? And that's with anything in life. It doesn't matter if you're a trainer or a hairstylist. That's just really what it comes down to. Know your worth. understand your business structure, have that set up. It's very important for you to have that set up as well. Try to get your LLC, try to get a business credit card, understand the benefits of what we do as well, because we are talking a lot about business. Like, you could save some money as well. Make sure you get your travel cards, your business cards, you use your points. There are a lot of different ways that you can maximize your business. When it comes to sales, there's a book called The Greatest Salesman. I highly recommend taking a look at that book because it'll help you with closing as well. If you're an introvert, if you don't feel confident, or if you're nervous about how to do that, definitely pick up a book that can help you. The Greatest Salesman was a great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a good book that teaches you about money and financial investments and how to be able to make passive income as well.
Yeah.
One of the pieces that I feel like that is even important, right, is because within our in-season, off-season, we're year to year. Some people are month to month with their checks. We're like year to year.
I know I got them this year. Now I got to reclose next year.
The biggest piece is sustainability of long term.
Right now.
Like, how can I make $275,000 for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Instead of making $275, then make it 75, 60, 100.
That always going to come down to the value that you always provide. Like, if your haircut,
Quality of work.
How long you been going to your barber?
Now, look now. Which one?
Okay. Is there a barber that you love that he just provides so much?
Yes.
If I
have
could
a
take
barber
him
that
everywhere, I would.
Yeah.
You
No,
would take him
absolutely.
anywhere.
I would.
I got
Right?
one.
I would actually, like, he like washes my hair, he
Right.
steams my face.
He just
The whole
he do
the whole
thing.
experience.
Gives you a therapy,
And you don't
therapy
even
session,
you don't
everything
even
like that.
think twice. Like, he asked for 200 or whatever he asked for, I'm just saying, if he was asking for 200.
I mean, you asking 200, then you better look here.
Wash
If
my
he's
hair,
worth it,
massage the
If
scalp.
he's worth it,
Yeah, 100%.
you paying.
You gonna pay.
House
You
call
paying.
too?
Yeah, house calls
Coming
too.
to
How many
my
times
house, washing my hair,
How many
give me a
times you
fake-
had a house call with your
come on
barber?
now.
I do house calls all the time.
Yeah,
they worth
that's
it.
100 to 150 every
Absolutely.
time.
It's worth it. So
I'm
look
gonna
at
pay it for you to do house calls.
Yeah.
I look at us as the same thing. It's the value is there, right? And we provide a service that's just
$50 in the
concrete.
shop.
So
150
there's
at the-
really no rebuttal. Like, if you know if it works and if it's great, I want that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that. Now, if my money's low, my money's low. If I'm the client, my money's low, my money's low. But I'm still gonna find a way to
But
keep
the
this.
other piece is, can you provide a part of closing?
Yep.
Can you provide data and research that shows why if you don't do X, Y, and Z, this could happen?
That's
and
what-
I've seen
That's
this
another-
happen.
that's another
so
great
I
point.
do that excellent.
Yeah.
Like, I can show if you're a high maintenance guy or you a
Yeah.
low usage guy, your lack of preparedness can get you out of the league.
Yeah.
A lot.
I guess I took some of those things for granted. I just assumed that we just know that. But yeah, research,
You have to research.
understanding your
personnel.
who you're working with, assessing that, also knowing. I just took a second to think about you, bro.
Take a second to think about me. You take a longer than a second to think about me.
I took a second. No, because
longer than a
you
second.
had a whole moment. Pause, bro. Pause all that stuff. But no, definitely understanding your assessment, understanding when you're looking at like your clients and you're looking at their season, you're trying to unlock something out of them. Having that research, being ready to present like, hey man, this is what I've seen. This is what can go wrong if you don't work on this.
Correct. I get them early because the reason why within that first contract, the goal is to make it to the second contract. That second contract within the NBA is so hard to accomplish. If you don't fully squeeze the lemon and get everything out of it, you would miss out on it. And I say, if this 150 is not value to you, and then you're gonna miss out on 50 to 70 million, that's on you.
Selling the
But
value,
I've seen where out of 32 guys in certain draft, only 4 of them be left in the NBA for their second
Yep.
contract. And they think it's just more so what I do on the court, or
bro.
It's everything.
it's everything.
It's everything, bro. You gotta sell your value. You gotta sell
You
the
have
value
to
because they don't
understand.
see it, especially early on, like you said. They don't see.
They're arrogant.
I got athletes right now. I train rookie year, their second year in the league, and they think because they're healthy that they don't really need the extra services. You're healthy because of one, God, and then 2, you got the extra services. So
Correct.
don't cut it out just because you're doing well. Keep doing well. Like, it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going through with an athlete right now where I've had him for a minute, and it's like, I'm gonna see, what's going on and see. It's like, it's been working. You know what I'm saying?
Do what
Keep
works.
investing. You're gonna spend the bread anyway. Either you're gonna spend it, invest it, or Uncle
they gonna
Sam
take
gonna
it.
take it. So you should put it into your body. You know what I'm saying? When business expense, however you want to expense it, but you have to sell, like you said, like we've said over and over again, sell the value and, don't sell yourself short. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that first no.
I'm going to be very, and I agree on that. You know who really helped us? And let's be honest. I mean, the moment LeBron came out and said he spent this much
absolutely.
for his health, it
Absolutely.
made everything so much easier. So I will say that this day and age of asking and selling is so much easier than it was before. Because
So this is what we're doing, is allowing the other side to set the market. Because
and a lot of players buy into it too. They look at LeBron, they admire his work, they admire that, and it makes it easier. And I know I'm talking about athletes, but this can be for anything. If the value is there and you understand that, you definitely, you will pay for that. And
Let me
that's
ask you
just
this
how it
question.
boils down to.
It's a not debatable. I know we have to, close up.
Yeah.
But I feel like Kobe valued the work more than the recovery.
I agree.
He didn't value the recovery to latter of his career.
Yeah,
When
I
you
agree.
start to see his body start to break down. He pushed
agree.
his body to the max and got everything out of it, which is fine. But your max may not be his max.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So you have to take care of your body so you can't have that,
He definitely went way harder post-injury.
20 plus.
So we got a
20
man
plus years,
therapist here.
but 20 years,
That worked for
20
Kobe.
years in the league with Kobe.
20 years, but he only played maybe 16, 15 healthy.
Great point.
That's a really
Great point.
amazing
So he
point.
missed out on points. He's missed out on a lot of benchmarks that he probably personally wanted to set. Championships.
We feel that way about Jordan too? That era?
Jordan different.
Jordan different.
I mean, to be honest, Tim Grover was the guy who set the foundation for working with a guy
In the private
season,
sector, yep.
in the private sector in season.
He worked with
If
Kobe.
it
Outside
wasn't
of
for
the team.
him, being public and being one of the first, founders of this,
Great
we probably
book, by the
wouldn't
way.
be.
He just missed
Both,
it.
both of them,
Both of 'em.
relentless winning. But
Relentless and unforgiving.
also though, like you gotta look at LeBron James, and you gotta look at like Tom Brady. Some of these guys,
Patrick
like
Mahomes.
no, I'm talking about longevity.
Oh.
These guys are like
gonna get that off.
anomalies. Like LeBron and Tom Brady, 20 plus years in the league, and pretty much for the most part, severe injury free, except for Tom Brady with the ACL.
Somebody hit him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that was a
he came in,
contact.
yeah.
So looking at those things, like, it's tough, man, because there's only two of them. It's not that many of them,
I mean, I look at, I think Richard Jefferson had a long, good career.
You must like him.
I
This
think
is your
Vince
second
Carter
time
had a
bringing
long,
Rich
good
Jefferson.
career.
absolutely.
I'm just thinking about some players that are just, I think
Quietly.
Steph is having a really amazing career.
Facts.
But where did his career change when he started to
When he
invest
started-
into his body?
Yeah, because
got it.
he
Trey
almost
Myers
had
said it.
he almost had to retire because of his ankle
Yeah,
injuries.
and so I'm looking at it now, like there's more instances than just LeBron. Like there are a lot
Absolutely.
of athletes. I even think regardless of Chris Paul and some of his injuries,
Chris
he's
Paul's
had a,
sustainability is up there.
I only said LeBron James and Tom Brady because they were big advocates of bringing their own guy.
Everybody's
Yeah.
not openly
bringing their
Yeah,
own
okay,
guy
got
and
you.
spending
Sorry.
and spending the amount of money that
Yep.
they did on their nutrition and on their
Russ said he
training and
spends $1 million.
changing the wave. I understand that, but
Westbrook?
I'm
Wilson.
I'm talking about just the longevity of it, right? LeBron James and Tom Brady, TB12, and then with this LeBron James kind of thing where he's like, I spend $1 million per year minimum on my body,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing I was breaking down.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Man, this has been a good episode of us just really just kicking the can on in-season training. And really
Part two coming on that.
Yeah, I
we
think
can break down
there's
X's
a
and
lot more
O's,
that
what
we
we do
can
in
do
season.
into this.
A
Absolutely.
lot more meat on the bone.
Yeah, a lot more meat on that. It's like
You can't help it. You
Yo,
can't
bro,
help yourself.
you're a grown man, bro. You don't
I
gotta
am a
pause
grown
yourself. You
man.
don't
I'm
gotta-
very
you know what I'm
confident
saying?
in myself, but the way that was gonna come out, that was gonna come out wild. I was gonna I emphasized that meat. I like making them loud. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Untrained podcast. Again, my name is Amoila Cesar. I'm here with Curtis, Mo, Chris. Man, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe.
Please.
And leave a comment. We want to know. Also, let's help get our engagement up.
We need
y'all.
some followers.
We
We need
need
some
y'all.
likes.
Come on, team.
Views.
We need
Come on,
some-
gang.
We need some
I
subscribers.
need you
We
guys,
it.
man. We appreciate you.
Much
We're gonna
love.
be here next time. We got something fun coming up next time.
Absolutely.
All right, gang.
I can't be stopped. I won't be shook. Give all I got.
Untrained podcast. This is in-season training. In-season training. Take one.
Only take.
I up and overlooked. Whoever thought I would quit has been getting it wrong, cause I'm just getting started. It ain't too many like this.
Just want
Pay
to
your
look out
taxes.
on that.
Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes is important because I know some people who don't pay their taxes.
Look, I do too.
Really the heart, the game would die if I departed. Got my eyes on the target. Look, I'm more than it seems. Spend my whole life focused. Made it more than a dream. Just keep on going, even if it's unseen. Because unnoticed.